Hello and welcome. You're watching Business Today Television. This is Market Today. I'm Sakshi Batra and with me is Shail Bhatnagar. Well, volatility is an understatement if I wish to describe how the markets traded all of yesterday. Now remember, until the final 40 minutes of the trading session, the day remained lackluster with choppiness all the way and also gave a fair play trade to both the bulls and the bears. But from 2:50 p.m. onwards, it was a one-way ride, an extremely sharp bout of buying at the lower levels that led to a 350-point recovery on the Nifty before the close of the trade. So leave alone 22,300 that was keeping all the traders busy. The index also surged past 22,400, eventually closing above it as well. And this sharp recovery has also now ensured that the Nifty has now turned positive for the week with gains of 0.8%. The Nifty Bank also rose sharply in trade and recovered during those last 40 minutes of trade as well. Today, of course, we will see a whole host of stocks, reacting to their earnings like Vodafone Idea, Biocon, Crompton Greaves Consumer, eClerx Services, JK Paper, and these will be reacting to their earnings, while new earnings that will be coming in: JSW Steel, Astral, Bandhan Bank, Balrampur Chini, GMR Power, also Godrej Industries, Phoenix Mills and RVNL would be some of the earnings that I'll keep an eye out on. But the big question is, will the Nifty now scale above 22,500 mark or consolidate going forward from here? We'll find that out over the next 90 minutes odd as well. Very warm welcome to all our viewers and good morning, Shail.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We are at Friday and this is the beginning of a new weekly expiry on the Nifty. Remember, Sakshi's commentary should be understood against the background of a weekly expiry on the Nifty yesterday. We are working for a very short duration tomorrow as well because you have an disaster recovery site which is to be tested, and Monday is going to be a holiday because Maharashtra goes for national polling, and therefore there will be a holiday in Mumbai as well. So keep these two or three things in mind as we begin to discuss not only yesterday's move but also today's implications of yesterday's move on today's trade. As usual, we'll begin with our daily dose of Nifty's daily chart, and you'll see last 3 or 4 maybe last 30-35 minutes of trade was because a lot of delivery was picked up on HDFC Bank and Reliance Industries. My own understanding is that a lot of large institutional players in the options segment have made tons and tons of money. A few retail investors have also made decent money, but a vast chunk of option traders have lost their savings. That's a bit worrisome, but that's how the markets are structured. So today I expect the markets to sort of give back their early gains in early trade. So the late gains that were made on Thursday, some of them will be given back. The Nifty may again test 22,350, maybe even 22,300, and then probably resume its upward journey. But the heavy fluctuations and Sakshi's point that volatility was very high is something that really troubles a lot of people, and end of the day a vast majority of us end up losing money in doing these options trade. Well, that is the structure of the markets. Let's proceed forward into what the Nifty is trying to do. So the weekly gain of the Nifty now will come into the picture. Look at the charts of HDFC Bank, look at the charts of Reliance Industries. Sakshi, this week the underperformers and underdogs have outperformed the normal strata. Look at L&T, it's up 5%. Remember the disastrous reaction to very good earnings. Now sensible people around the 200-day moving average of Larsen have purchased this stock, and it is the best performing index heavyweight last week, up about 5%. RIL is up 1.2%. HDFC Bank is up 1.2%, and of course Kotak and Infosys are up more than 2% each. So far the Nifty is up 600 points in the last 5 sessions. That's a gain of about 1.2-1.3%. If you calculate it from the low of 21,821, it's about 2.7%. So good going there, but let's look at the good parts. The Dow Jones, Sakshi, we'll be discussing this in great detail, is above 40,000. It's a record high. I'm sure you will have more details. The dollar index and the US 10-year yield are muted. This is positive for Indian equities. Gold as well as crude oil futures aren't doing much. They are muted. This is again positive for Indian equities. And the options chain of Nifty for the weekly expiry of 23rd May now becomes operational. At the moment, actually, it's absolutely quiet. No signals coming in from there in terms of options support or options resistance. So far on the upside, you will now face 22,500 as far as Nifty bulls are concerned. Very strong support now at 22,350 because the 21-day exponential moving average is now with the bulls. So 21, 50 and 100 are now with the bulls. There is a blue sky territory as far as Nifty is concerned on its top. I am fairly sanguine that next week you will see a record high above 22,800. Sakshi.
Right, so let's keep an eye out on what the global cues are and how are they shaping up. So for the overnight trade on the Wall Street, you did see, an eventual red close for all the three indices. The S&P 500 and the Nasdaq declined by 0.21% and 0.26% respectively. The Dow Jones Industrial Average fell by 0.1%. This is after the Dow hit a historic high intraday of 40,000 mark, and this is for the first time that Dow Jones has hit that mark. And this was followed by the US Fed officials now indicating that inflation is expected to take longer to reach the target of 2%, and which is why you saw that profit taken off the Wall Street indices as well. Now, as far as the Asia Pacific markets are concerned, they erased the gains early morning following the weak US close as well, and also ahead of the key economic data from China. So the Nikkei 225 was seen trading about 0.5% lower in trade. Kospi was down 0.7%, although it's the Hang Seng index that opened higher, placing the benchmark on track to close at the highest level since August. Right now, it's up by 0.6% odd, and the Shanghai is slightly up at about 0.08% higher in trade. Now, following this, we've seen that the GIFT Nifty was trading around 22,477 level, a premium of nearly 20 odd points as far as the Nifty is concerned. So we could be hoping for a positive start, but it will be important to watch out for whether those gains sustain or is it consolidation on the way. Now, apart from this, when we talk about the flows, the FIIs have remained net sellers for 11 straight session, and in fact they've pulled out about 776 odd crore rupees in yesterday's trade, although the quantum was much lesser than it has been doing over the last 10-11 odd trading sessions. The DIIs have put in about 2,128 crore rupees of money in buying of the stocks in yesterday's trade. Several stocks are going to be in focus today, so let's look at those. Vedanta is going to be in focus. The board of the Anil Agarwal-led company has declared its first interim dividend of 11 rupees per share for FY25, and May 25 has been fixed as the record date for this first interim dividend payout. Remember, in fiscal year 2023, Vedanta had poured a record 37,730 odd crore rupees in dividend, or 101 rupees per share, and so the trajectory goes forward too. PB Fintech is going to be in focus. The promoter is set to sell up to 1.86% stake in the company via block deals worth 1,053 crore rupees. The floor price for the deal is 1258 rupees a share. This could be a discount of 6% to yesterday's close, and there could be a 365-day lock-in period for the next tranche of the stake sale by the promoter. We'll keep a keen eye out on this one. Remember, yesterday the stock had shot up 5% odd or so. Biocon is going to be in focus. The biotechnology firm has reported a 56% year-on-year drop in the net profit at 135 odd crore rupees, corresponding to a net profit of 313 odd crore rupees. So we'll keep a keen eye out on that because of the dent of the profitability figure. Concor is going to be in focus. The state-owned Navratna firm's consolidated net profit jumped by nearly 10% on a year-on-year basis to 301 crore rupees in Q4. This was helped by the growth in volume and the higher market share. So we'll keep an eye out on this too. JK Paper, of course, the board of the company has reported 1.6 207% year-on-year dip in the profit at 275 crores for Q4. In the corresponding quarter, it had posted a 280 crore rupees profit. The revenues have remained unchanged at 1719 crore rupees. So on lackluster kind of earnings. When we talk about Crompton Greaves Consumer, here the company has reported a 5.5% year-on-year increase in the net profit at 138.4 crores. And the revenue has increased by 9.5% at 1961 crores. Akzo Nobel, the paints and coatings maker, has reported a 14% year-on-year in the net profit at 108.7 crores, and the revenues have also seen a jump of 2.3%, just about 973 odd crore rupees. Triveni Turbine, that's another one that has reported earnings. The company's net profit came in at 75.6 crores. That's up 36.2% from 55.5 crores reported earlier in the last year same quarter. Revenues from operations have also grown 24% to 458 crore rupees on a year-on-year basis. Vodafone, I'm keeping a keen eye out on. Remember, the company has reported a net loss of 7,674 crore rupees for the fourth quarter, and the corresponding quarter it had posted a loss of 6,419 odd crore rupees. The company's revenues have stood at 10,606 crores as against 10,532 crore rupees reported in the previous fiscal same period as well. So those are some of the stocks that I'm keeping a keen eye out on, Shail. Shail, are you on mute by any chance? Could you check? We couldn't hear you. All right, so we'll try and fix that, connection. I think with Shail, there is some audio issue, and I'll come back to it. Meanwhile, for all our viewers, I'll detail for them the kind of brokerage houses views that we have been getting all of today. So let's talk about first M&M. Here, the brokerage firm Goldman Sachs has come out with a report, and they have given an overweight call with the target price that has risen to 2,665 odd crores. They expect this from Morgan Stanley, the overweight call and the target price to 2,665. Strong Q4, they expect the company to remain the fastest growing passenger vehicle OEM in FY25, re-rating potential for auto business, they believe. They also see improving farm business sentiments at the margin optionality for growth, and the value of unlocking that could be keeping them overweight on the stock going forward. Jefferies has in fact upgraded the stock to buy from hold, and the target price it has risen on M&M to 29.10. They also believe the tractor industry is in late downturn, and SUV portfolio continues to strengthen. The company also plans to launch 13 new SUVs by 2030, and therefore they believe that the company could be headed for higher rates going forward from here. On Concord, I have a report from Morgan Stanley again. Here there is an equal weight call with a target price of 1,076. They do believe that the Q4 earnings were a miss because the PAT was below estimate by about 14% odd or so. However, the domestic margins were down about 5 basis points year on year, and therefore they do continue to believe that the targets could be just about 1,076 from the current 1,036 odd. From Jefferies, we also have a report on GAIL. It's given an underperform call here with a target price of 150. It believes that profitability in the gas transmission and petchem gas is trading below the estimates, and the PAT has missed estimates by 15% odd on higher depreciation and lower other income. It also believes that capex guidance will be key to watch going forward from here to give any kind of an upward target. Remember, the stock is at 195 and the target given by Jefferies is lower at 150. On Crompton Greaves Consumer, CLSA has given an outperform with the target price which has raised to 370 rupees. Remember, the Q4 earnings ahead of estimates with better ECD margins on strong growth and price hikes is something that they are anticipating. They also believe that current earnings are also boosted by a strong summer season, effective of ongoing initiatives translating into a market share gain that would be key from here on. Shail is back with us. Let's get back to him. Yes, Shail.
Sakshi, I think Mayuresh has joined us, Head of Research. Let's look at the chart of Hindustan Aeronautics, Sakshi. Remember, this was the first stock that we had discussed yesterday morning before markets closed, and the company gave a stunning set of earnings towards, I think, 2:30 p.m., 3 p.m. There's a wonderful report that's come in from UBS, and it's talked about a price target of about 5,200. Remember, the stock closed about 10% higher yesterday, and it's because of huge expansion in margins, a very strong performance as far as profit after tax is concerned for the fourth quarter, and of course a smart run up in order book as also in revenue. We had Mr. Manish Sonthalia. He's the Chief Investment Officer of MK Investment Managers Limited at 4 p.m. yesterday, Sakshi, and he mentioned a fact that defense plays remained in the thick of trade as far as markets are concerned, and this is something where a vast majority of people remained bullish despite multi-bagger returns coming in from the likes of Hindustan Aeronautics, Masgaon and Garden Reach. But without further ado, let's get in touch with Mr. Mayuresh Joshi, Head of Equity Research, William O'Neill. Good morning to you, Mayuresh, and your views on Hindustan Aeronautics.
Morning, Chelsea. Morning, Sakshi. No, I think the numbers were stunning. So very good top line growth. You've seen margins expand quite significantly to 40 odd percent. They've got an order book in excess of 90 odd thousand crores, which gives revenue visibility over the next few years, and more orders expected in terms of both the platforms, in terms of the aging platforms that we've got for MiGs and the JAGs. I think they are expected to do very well in terms of new platforms that they are developing, and also the O&M part that comes with it, and also the helicopter platform. So I think they are ramping up scale, operating leverage is getting played out, and that is clearly getting reflected in numbers. Very, very strong EPS RS ratings as we sit at Markets with India. Yeah, so the momentum can very well continue for a stock like HAL.
Okay, and Mayuresh, I'd just like to mention a quibble. Remember last time when you came, you had this goatee on, and I had requested you to keep it in place because the wonderful functioning of the market was at risk. You can now see how well that totka has worked, and for every successive day since the last time you came in, the markets have gone up. So you must understand how crucial this goatee of yours is to the success of markets. Remember, Nifty is at 22,400 and the Dow Jones is at 40,000, and we have to go past the Dow Jones. So this goatee will be very necessary. It is my fond wish that this be kept in place. If you wish, I am based out of Delhi, we can come out with an ordinance or something and have that legalized, but you must understand how these totkas work. Now every day in the morning I have a cup of tea laced with sugar, कि मतलब बिल्कुल ठक ऊपर जाए बाजार, और देखिए पिछले 4 दिन से यही हो रहा है. So my hope to you is that you will retain this lovely goatee. And now please tell us 2 stocks which you think have deep value. I have kept your Balrampur Chini, I'm so sorry, Bama Lorry in my list of stocks that you have recommended last week.
Oh, absolutely, Chelsea. No, your recommendations well taken, and this will stay on over the next few weeks at least. Coming to what we like at Markets with India, again, I think CapEx and the domestic cyclical story still continues to remain very, very strong. You've seen numbers exhibited by the big boys, ABB, Siemens, to be extremely robust, and the outlook given by the managements are equally strong as well. In the same limelight, our take is that Welspun Corporation is something that we continue liking at Markets with India. It's not necessarily very cheap, but the expectation is that the earnings growth might continue for this part of the segment within capital goods stroke infra. And therefore, I think the kind of business that Welspun Corp is in, they're the top 3 globally in terms of the piping solutions, both line pipes. They're expanding their DI pipes in Saudi Arabia by 150 KTPMA. By doing a capex of 500 odd crores, and they've got an overall capacity of 2.2 million tons which makes them the top three in the globe. Again, the orders that are coming through, the domestic order book stands in excess of 7,500 crores. The Saudi Arabia order book stands in excess of 1,500 to 1,000 crores, and more orders expected their way. So I think in terms of revenue visibility over the next year and a half, 2 years, I think they're very well covered. The margins at which these orders are coming are also pretty good. And therefore, the management is very, very sanguine in terms of attaining their guidance that they had given out. 15,000 crores in terms of top line, they will exceed that, which is a significant growth, 1,500 crores in terms of EBITDA, and ROCs which have expanded to 15% single digits. I think rightly complemented with net debt levels going down to 500, 550 odd crores, which is a huge, huge positive. Again, the key triggers in terms of both the oil and gas space as well as the water space continue to be doing very, very well, are expected to do well for Welspun Corp. A lot of initiatives by the government, including Nal Se Jal, their water storage business through Sintex, the water storage tanks business through Sintex is expected to also have a very robust growth, and they have also probably forayed into the PVC plastic pipe business as well, which gives them the value add component for aiding margins. So our take is Welspun Corp is something that we like. EPSR is rating very, very strong. The other strong is something that will continue from last week where numbers have come yesterday, Concor. Strong set of numbers, expectations in terms of decent volume growth. The dedicated Western Freight Corridor should be operational fully in the next 6 months. And therefore, I think the entire perspective in terms of double stacking of trains, more efficiencies coming through for the entire trade channel, and global trade coming back to normalization levels in the second half, albeit the Red Sea crisis being resolved. I think that should all augur well in terms of strong earnings growth for the stock as well. Strong cash flows, reasonable dividend yield are also additional pointers. So I think these couple of pointers is something that we feel that the cancelling methodology will work very, very well.
Okay, Mayuresh, we couldn't get the second stock. If you could just rename it, please.
Shail said it was Container Corporation. Concor.
Container Corporation. Okay. So Container Corporation and Wellcorp is what we are getting from Mayuresh at this point of time. I believe Mr. Aditya Agarwal, Head of Derivatives and Technical Research at Sanctum Wealth, has also joined us. A very good morning to you, Aditya. I'm sure yesterday was a roller coaster ride as far as derivatives and technical analysts are concerned. Any two stock futures you think will be outperforming on the charts on the long or the short side today? Please share the names.
Morning, Shail. Well, definitely means if we see indices, means Nifty is definitely is quite volatile for last few trading sessions. Yesterday again, Nifty saw a good pullback from its support zone of 22,000, 22,050. So our view, overall view remains bullish on market. We are expecting that Nifty may move towards its previous highs of 22,700, 800 odd levels in next few trading sessions. IT sector is looking good from these levels, means we have seen a good correction in IT, and now last couple of days after consolidation, we are seeing a fresh up move. So I'm expecting that from these levels, IT may outperform. HCL Tech will be our top pick. Means if we see HCL Tech, this stock after correction is showing sign of reversal. I am expecting that HCL Tech may move towards 1440 to 1450 next couple of trading sessions. So at current levels, it's a good bet where risk reward ratio is clearly in favor of buyers. With a stop loss of 1310, one can initiate long position in HCL Tech. Another stock will be Titan. Means if we see Titan also, this stock saw a sharp correction after the earnings. But last 7-8 days, we have seen a consolidation, and now we are seeing a short covering move in Titan. So in Titan, I'm expecting that it may move towards 3,500, 3,550 odd levels in next few trading sessions. So in Titan also, long positions can be initiated with a stop loss of 3260.
Okay. Warm welcome, Aditya. Good to have you with us. Do tell us, how are you placed on M&M after the earnings have come in, and there are a slew of upgrades coming in on the brokerage houses front. Both Morgan Stanley, Goldman Sachs and Jefferies, they are all positive on M&M, and they've raised the targets to 2,900 odd as well, up to that level for sure, hoping that the upcoming year could be good for the company, looking at the new launches in the SUV space that it could be showing. What is your own sense on the technical level? Last 1 week has been good. 8% odd or so has been seen as a jump on M&M. Will this continue?
Good morning. Well, if we see Mahindra and Mahindra, this stock has outperformed the whole auto sector in last couple of weeks. It means we are seeing one-sided rally, and in fact, any correction intraday dip is also being used as a buying opportunity. You rightly said that this week Mahindra and Mahindra has already performed. It is already up by 8%. So at current levels, means I will avoid. If there's some correction, if there's some intraday dip, and the stock comes in the zone of 2300, 2320, that provides a good buying opportunity where one can take fresh long positions. On higher side, I'm expecting that it may move towards 2485 to 2540 levels in next few trading sessions. But I would advise to add on dips rather than buying at current levels.
Okay, understood. Aditya, as far as the
Ladies and gentlemen, the pre-open rates are upon us.
Yes. Yes, Shail, please continue.
The Nifty has a slightly disturbing tick. It has a slightly disturbing tick as far as prices are concerned, but like I had mentioned, that some of those gains will be taken away. Well, this number is quite substantial. Nevertheless, we'll go with what the market has with us. About a 160 point downtick. It's improving towards positivity. Let us see how it settles. I would imagine, giving back 50-70 points is not a problem. So the Nifty at the moment is down 65. Let's see how prices have behaved, and I am very keen to see what HDFC and Reliance are doing. Reliance is up 30 paisa, flat as flat can be, 28.51. We have HDFC Bank down 16 rupees. Now this is very critical. Remember, yesterday the underlying HDFC Bank was used by options traders to buy into, boost the index, buy calls on one side and sell puts on the other, and create the havoc that was there in the market. 1.37% lower, 1440. Let's look at some other price actions that are in the market. I'd like to see what Hindustan Aeronautics is doing. First of all, remember it had shut shop 10% higher. At the moment, the initial prices are not there in front of me. We'll keep an eye out on this one. Endurance Technology, strong set of numbers, 1.2% higher, 2050. Okay, Crompton Greaves, 2.9% higher, 348. M&M, the last chart check we just did, almost 2% higher, 2418. Triveni Turbine, a very strong set of numbers, 3.2% higher, 624. Okay, the Nifty is now a very sensible 35 points higher, 22,365. Let's look at some more interesting data. You have strength coming in. These are not usual names that we discuss. We'll keep them in abeyance. Rainbow Children's Medicare, 6% higher, 1432. You have Inox Wind, 2% higher at 623. Let's look at the FNO space for some sense as to how markets are going to perform. Sakshi, there is frankly nothing much to say. The market is flat as flat can be, 18 points higher, lower, 22,382. This is a fairly sensible reaction. You had a question for Aditya.
Yes, before that, I'd like to just point out PB Fintech in the block deal window has seen about a 1.8% equity exchange hands, and the stock is slightly lower in trade. Amidst that, we are getting that deal underway. Remember, we were discussing that pre-markets open, that this is likely to happen as the promoters are likely to sell these shares, and 83.7 lakh shares have seen 2 block deals take place already. Flattish trade on PB Fintech right now. Remember, we had discussed that block deal worth about 1,053 odd crore rupees is to take place, where the promoter is looking to sell 1.86% stake. So that deal has probably taken place. This is on a 6% discount to yesterday's place, yesterday's stock price at 1258 odd rupees per share, and there is a 365-day lock-in period for the second tranche as well. flattish rate, but slightly up, about a percent higher for PB Fintech. So we'll wait for Mayuresh to join in back, and we'll take a view from Mayuresh on this one too. But Aditya, also wanted to discuss with you, as far as the defense stocks are concerned, the way they have been performing, which one really looks promising to you? Would you stick with the record run of HAL, or would you now take fresh bets on, say, a BEL or a BDL, in the next tranche of the rally that could be underway?
Well, I think if we see HAL, this stack has already seen a fabulous rally in last couple of weeks, couple of months. This rally will continue, but if I have to take a fresh bet from these levels, I would go with BEL. This stock is trading in a range for last couple of days now, in the range of 210 to 235 to 40. I'm expecting that from these levels, we can see a fresh up move in this counter. And on the higher side, it can easily move towards 265 to 280 in next few trading weeks. So BEL will be our top pick in defense from these levels at least.
Okay. Mayuresh, let me just toss the PB Fintech question to you. Now that you're back with us on the promoter stake sale now, and where does the stock go forward from here? There was huge anticipation on the promoter stake sale at least 2 quarters before, and every time we spoke to the management, they were dousing the fire on the promoters not willing to really exit any part stake. Now that this deal has taken place, does it make any material difference right now to the rally that was unfolding on PB Fintech?
So Sakshi, might be to a certain extent the markets might have a short-term knee-jerk reaction, but if you look at the longer-term trajectory in terms of how earnings have stacked up for PB Fintech, I think earnings have been pretty stable till the quarter gone by, and to that extent, I think the expectations in terms of earnings compounding at a very decent pace is a base case scenario for PB Fintech. Again, new products being introduced onto the platform and more digitalization expected to come their way. I think there is still a long way to go in terms of the company itself, in terms of core earnings growth and return ratios. So I'm not too perturbed in terms of how the promoter sale will be. Maybe a short-term reaction onto the stock, but I think it should stabilize after a few days.
Okay, the Nifty is back in green territory, ladies and gentlemen. About 11-12 point uptick, still a bit volatile. The highest that it went was about 35 points higher. The good point, ladies and gentlemen, is LNT. After a stunning week so far. Remember, it's the best performing Nifty stock, up about 5.5-6%. It's still gathering momentum. 34.84. This is something to look forward to. Mayuresh, I wanted to pick your brains up on this rally that we are seeing on the capital goods space. Siemens up 26-27% in the last 2 weeks. ABB, of course, has been a blowout stock. The MNC space, GE Transmission and Distribution, Power India, formerly which was called Hitachi Energy. All sorts of these stocks are in a trending bull market. What do you think is happening in the underlying space of fundamentals as far as these stock prices are concerned? Are you worried, or is this par for the course?
So, Shail sir, I think to a certain extent the earnings have been compounding at a very decent pace. Now, the initial part of the market belief, second half of this financial year, I mean the year that has gone by, was that earnings would remain strong, but they have remained stronger than what most analysts had probably pegged. And therefore, the expectations in terms of how earnings will stack up from an FY25, FY26 perspective, even on such a high base, gets accentuated by the fact that orders are increasing at a very good pace, albeit this quarter where elections are probably happening across the country. But once the elections are over, orders should resume coming back to the space as a whole. The margins at which these orders are coming are pretty robust as well. Last but not the least, the operating leverage is clearly getting played out because these companies are executing these orders very well in the defined timelines, which is creating that huge implied effect in terms of very strong cash flows and return ratios. Obviously, a few of these companies also do not have that leverage component on their balance sheet, which makes it even a sweeter case in terms of consistency in double-digit earnings growth over the next couple of years. Having said that, I think the run-up that these stocks have witnessed have been stupendous. Valuations again are significantly higher than what they were a couple of years back, and therefore the justification will only come through as earnings keep on compounding at the pace that the market probably expects. Any disappointment thereof might lead to some element of sell-off into these stocks. So our take at markets with is very simple, Shelser. Enjoy the ride and momentum that these stocks are probably giving, but keep a very, very close lookout in terms of either the 50 DMA or the 100 DMA for these stocks. If these technical indicators are reached with extremely heavy volumes, maybe at that time your momentum and the ride that you're probably enjoying, you can book out on from these stocks. But till that point, I think continue enjoying the moment.
Okay. Is there any favorite that you have in this power transmission dominated capital goods space?
So I think there was one proxy play, Shelser, and I think we discussed this almost a quarter back on the show itself, Techno Electric, which is a unique combination in terms of the grid substation arrangements that it does with power grid. A large part of the substations are done by Techno Electric. They're also into data center. They're having a huge capex in terms of a huge data center coming in Chennai. They are into the smart meter category. And for the power space, as I've time and again been mentioning, the flue gas desulfurization, which is expected to get completed by March 26, the equipment that is needed thereof and the order book itself of existing power plants is to the tune of 1 lakh crores. So 1 lakh crore is the market size that is available. Only 15 or 20,000 crores worth of tenders have been given. So I think more tenders will come through in the next year and 6 months, which needs to get completed in that timeline. And companies like Techno Electric, Power Mech, which is also a proxy to these power stocks, can actually do well with only the singular element actually getting played out.
Okay. Again, we are looking at Bharti Airtel showing us some ticks in the pre-opening trade. So I wanted to take your view, Mayuresh. How are you now looking at it after the earnings on Bharti Airtel? Of course, earnings were not very good. They was quite subdued, but it's the commentary on big hopeful of ARPUs at 300 and probably tariff hike hopes coming in. How are you really looking at Bharti Airtel now?
So positively, I think it perfectly matches our mechanism, the cancelling mechanism that it follows. So EPS, RS, institution holding very strong. Yes, you're right. I think the numbers were stable. But one looks at the larger, bigger picture, and as you pointed out, Sakshi, I think the expectation is a huge tariff hike, which all of us will need to pay out in terms of our data consumption. But let us also understand that India stands in the lowest 5 countries in terms of the cost that we pay for data consumption. So to that extent, I think there will be calibrated increases. My own sense is that they will do calibrated increases even within the postpaid subscribers that they've got. In terms of data consumption patterns that they are probably observing, have some plans which are laid out for high data consumption, low data consumption, etc. And also probably the churn ratio has remained very, very positive and in favor of the company as well at 2.4%. So the subscriber market share growth, the revenue market share growth expected to reasonably compound. As tariffs increase, the 5G capex that Bharti Airtel has done a few quarters back, I think that substantially leads to improved cash flows on the balance sheet and deleveraging as well, which is a huge positive from an earnings perspective. So as I said, EPS RS rating very, very strong. Anybody holding Airtel should continue.
Okay. A few stocks that could be in limelight on the back of earnings today. They're showing sharp ticks ahead of the market opening. Endurance Tech, it's almost up about 8 odd %. This is after the earnings. And Keynes Technology, that's another one that's also showing a sharp uptake of about 5.5–6%. No, now it's up by 14.9% in the pre-open trade. And this is after the revenue for the company has jumped 75% on a year-on-year basis. So that's Keynes Technology. Let's show that stock as well. It probably is opening up in double-digit gains. The other one is IIFL Securities. Remember, this stock was volatile after the regulators' concerns on the loans portfolio, but the earnings have actually come in pretty well. Margins at 17% and the revenues have also jumped up by 68%. So the stock is showing an uptick of 7 odd percent. So these are the three stocks that I'll be keeping an eye out on. Aditya, anything from these three stocks that you think you'll be likely to take a trade today?
See, among these three stocks, Endurance is still the best bet. Means if we see Endurance for last couple of weeks now, it was trading in a range, and after that we have, and it on lower side it found a strong support around its 200 days moving average, and from those levels we have seen a good rally in this counter. So overall view, long-term perspective remains bullish. We are expecting it may move towards 2400, 2500 levels, and means on if it breaks 2425, then it 26 and 2640 will be the next possible target. But after today's gap down, I will wait for some time. Let the stock cool down. If it comes down 2120, that's a good level to the enter into the stock.
Right, ladies and gentlemen, the prices are upon us. A bit of a back foot for the Nifty, as was indicated by the GIFT Nifty, and of course the markets will take back some of those fantastic gains that they had given us in the last hour of trade. The Nifty at 22,374, a mild downtick, 90 points lower on the Nifty Bank, now 100 points lower. The IT index in the green, as also the Nifty 500. Now let's sort of dig deeper into what the index heavyweights are telling us. What is HDFC Bank doing at the moment? 2 rupees lower, 1459. What is Reliance telling us? It's at 2836, 15 rupees lower. And how about Infosys? 235 down at 1450. What is in the green? It's Tata Motors, ladies and gentlemen, 1% here at 947. And how about L&T? I'm very keen to look at L&T. That has to outperform. No. Down 5 rupees at 34.55. So out of 10 index heavyweight stocks, only 3 are in the green. Tata Motors, TCS, mildly, and State Bank of India, 2 rupees 70. So it's not looking good in the initial part of the trade. Not a problem. Let's look at the top gainers as far as the markets are concerned. Endurance Technology, 7.8% higher. Earnings Boy, 2184. Keynes Technology, 2819, 12% higher. It's taking it away. Okay, it's the day for earnings only. Info Edge, 5% higher. Naukri.com, 6164. Triveni Turbine, 5% higher, 633. Crompton Greaves, 367, 9% higher. It's basically an earnings-led show so far. Ladies and gentlemen, the most active counter today is, surprise, Hindustan Aeronautics. 218 crores so far, flat for the moment, but this will show traction. 4570 for you. M&M taking it away, a blowout here, 4.7% higher, 2486. And of course you have BEL, 1.85% higher, 242. Let's look at the F&O space and see if there are any outperformers. Nothing much catches my fancy. Okay, GAIL, 1.8% higher, 199. Granules India, 2.2% higher, 408. And of course you have the likes of Glenmark. So it's going to be a pharma-led day, 1.2% higher at 1016. Let's look at the broader markets. Advanced decline fairly in favor of bulls, 1400 shares in the green, 430 in the red. Business Today tracks 19 indices for you, ladies and gentlemen. About 11 of them are in the green, led by the Nifty Auto Index, 1.7% higher. It's M&M all the way. Aditya, what are the charts of M&M telling you? A record high, 2509, and a very good price update coming in.
Well, structure-wise, as I mentioned before, also means there is no issue with M&M, but stock has already rallied a lot. Means if we see in this week, it is up to almost 13.5%, 14% up. So current price entry at current level does not give a risk-reward ratio. If someone is holding, then they can continue to hold with a stop loss of 2240. But if for initiating a fresh position, I will wait for some profit booking. If stocks comes down 2350, 2300, that's a good level to the enter for fresh position. But yeah, if someone is holding, they can continue to hold.
Okay, Aditya, Crompton Greaves consumer for you, the top mover as far as the F&O space is concerned, now up 10%, a very, very sharp move just in the few minutes of trade. How would you really look at this one?
Well, structure of Compton this is quite positive. Means if we see after good consolidation, we have seen a good breakout above 320, 330 levels. And now we are seeing long positions also getting built up for last 2, 3 trading sessions. So if slightly longer term perspective, I'm expecting it may move towards 435, 440 levels. Definitely a good counter to be in. At current levels, also fresh long positions can be initiated with a target of 440, 435 to 440.
Okay, Mayuresh, let me bring you in as well. Earnings were largely in line with just revenue up by about 9 odd percent. What shows this outperformance in the counter?
Sakshi, frankly, I did not get time to look at the numbers. There were so many numbers, so I'll have to give that.
Absolutely, absolutely. But what is your own sense in the consumer durable space and this entire space, and does this counter really hold promise?
Yeah, so I think this space generally should structurally do well, because if you're talking about the per capita income expected to grow exponentially over the next 3 to 4 years, I think the large part of the market is that the consumer durable space, which starts with the basic elements and the necessities which are required, right? Fans, you're probably looking at heaters. To a certain extent, kitchen appliances. I think as the real estate cycle is evolving over the next few years, we are already in the third year of a 6 year cycle. There will be a lot of fitments done in all the new houses that have got purchased. There will be refurbishment in existing houses as well. So I think those become additional triggers for all these stocks at play. So I think as a space, expected to do well. So I think you can club a lot of stocks within this, including Crompton Greaves Consumer. I've not looked at the numbers, but looking at the reaction, the numbers should have been pretty good. Orient Electric to a certain extent, Havells to a certain extent. So they are all proxies in terms of the real estate cycle itself.
Okay, understood that. That's the consumer durable space, but it's the tech space that taking away. Now, Dixon Technologies is up another 3% odd or so in trade. Of course, we've already pointed out Keynes Tech and Endurance Tech. This entire space is positive. Either of the three, which one would you take forward in the trade, Aditya?
Well, definitely Dixon. Means if we say Dixon for last 8, 10 days, it is in consolidation zone. Now it's on the verge of giving a fresh breakout. Means today already in the early trade, we have seen that the stock has added almost 4% shares in open interest on long side. So above 85, 8600 means it can easily move towards 9,000 to 9,200 levels. So Dixon means if we see all these three counters, Dixon will be top pick from these levels.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I think it's going to be a defense day. There is absolutely no doubt here. After the sharp uptick on Hindustan Aeronautics, it's BEL now up 2%, 244. This is a record high, ladies and gentlemen. The entire shipbuilding pack is in. I think, Sakshi, it was Mayuresh who said that shipbuilders are making ships but traveling in rockets. Am I right, Mayuresh? Didn't you say that once?
Yes.
So that's how we remember you, and of course with the goatee in place. So it's taking it away, ladies and gentlemen. Mazgaon Dock record high 2577. BDL 2105 again record high, BEL record high, and of course Cochin Shipyard and Garden Reach also doing pretty well. Aditya, because it's a technical move that's coming in after HAL's fantastic performance, anything that catches your fancy?
Well, Mazgaon Dock means I will definitely go with Mazgaon Dock. Means this stock has found strong support around this 50 and 200 moving average, which was somewhere around 2050, 2100 levels. And the last 4 days, we have seen a good rally from those levels. So overall structure remains positive. Means I'm expecting that it may move towards 2,800, 2,850 levels in next few trading sessions. So any dip in this counter towards 2,500, 2,480 can be used to initiate long positions with a stop loss of 2,340. On higher side, 2,800 to 2,850 will be the next possible target.
Okay, that's the move coming in, and there's no stopping Indigo and Oberoi Realty. I won't be taking a view on Indigo because we've talked about it so many times. Oberoi Realty is getting pushed on to stratospheric levels after its earnings last week. Mayuresh, coming to you first. Amongst the Mumbai-based real estate developers, what would be your favorite pick? As also in the real estate space, any view on Oberoi Realty?
No, so I think Uber Reality should continue its momentum. Very strong set of numbers. The kind of project lineup that they've got and the inventory that is getting sold off on the existing projects is a testimony in terms of earnings still expected to remain very, very strong and stable. Again, the expectations largely, Shelter, is how the new launches will be taken. And new launches are being taken. The appetite probably remains very, very strong across markets. You've seen the recent launch that DLF did. Again, within a week or a couple of weeks' time, I think that entire pre-booking amount was taken into place. You've seen a lot of projects that Soba has launched, a project that Kolte Patil has launched in Pune. So I think the times are good. The real estate sector is in a very, very sweet spot. As I just mentioned for the proxy space here, the 6-year cycle continues. So to that extent, I think Oberoi Realty, Kolte Patil from the western part of the market, anybody holding on should definitely continue holding on. But I think it's more the real estate ancillaries again, which will start reacting very, very positively in the next few quarters. Because as the cycle evolves, and as I just put forth the argument that as new houses will now start coming up, there will be fitments that will be required, a lot of furniture will be required. You will have a lot of customer or consumer appliances that will go into new houses as well, which will lead to exponential growth for all the proxy players on the real estate side. So to that extent, I think one can continue holding the developers, but I think the real estate proxy players is something that can do well over the next couple of years.
Okay. Got that. Well, apart from this, something that was in momentum a couple of days back has continued to be in momentum even today. The tire space. Remember, yesterday we were discussing the sharp move in the Apollo tire space. Again, in the FNO, it's up by about 2%. And along with it, the entire basket of stocks is showing us some higher takes. So, be it JK Tire, be it SEAT, be it all of these counters, Balkrishna. How are you really looking at this space, Aditya? Is anything looking interesting to you in the fresh momentum that's building on?
If we see Balkrishna Tires, then this stock is looking quite promising. Stock has definitely seen some rally in last few days, but structure-wise, if we see, this is a best counter right now. Right now it's somewhere around 2610 levels. I'm expecting that it may easily go towards 2800, 2850 levels. From these levels also, we can see some 8 to 10% upside this counter. So among the whole tire space particularly is looking good, but if we see have to select one stock, then I will go with Balkrishna Tires.
Okay, that's as far as the tire space is concerned. And the oil and gas space, that's another one that's taking all the attention. So ONGC continues with its upward run. Remember, there was the windfall tax benefit. So 1.4% higher for this one in trade today. Along with this, the gas stocks, Petronet LNG, GAIL, they are coming back in flavor again in trade today. Mayuresh, how are you looking at the space now? Anything looks promising to you from a medium to long-term perspective?
No, so I think they are priced to perfection, very frankly, if you ask me, within this space. And it is highly dependent in terms of how the demand-supply dynamics move, how crude moves from the current juncture, and not great expectations on crude as well. So I think even the IEA has given a statement that demand will probably drop, which will probably mean that there might be even further cuts that can come through from both OPEC and non-OPEC as well, to try and provide support to base prices as well. Gas prices also are largely looking stable at this juncture. And therefore, I think an exponential increase in terms of earnings growth based on this core dynamic that they work on seems to be very, very unlikely. I think the operating efficiencies in terms of the respective sub-segments. So for Petronet, I think the regasification assumptions of gas prices and the long-term contracts that probably have remaining stable, and the new capacity is expected to increase volumes, is something that will keep earnings in good stead. GAIL has a lot of subcomponents within its business, and within the business SOTP valuations as well. And one part of the business always underperforms as the market conditions evolve, but the other parts of the business probably take care of that. But again, I think good businesses, stable earnings growth expected, stable ROE is expected, and decent dividend yield. So I think no fresh buys at this juncture, not great fireworks that I expect, but anybody holding can continue.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, the old favorites are returning. We need to pay attention to Power Finance Corporation, Tata Power. PFC is up almost a percent in the futures trade, 460.65. You have Power Finance Corporation now up 1.12%. ONGC is coming back in flavor, 282.15. Remember, there was a cut in the windfall tax about 2 days ago. That's going to benefit the company sentimentally as well as technically on the charts. A strong move coming into Cochin Shipbuilders now, 1394. At the moment, this counter is also in the pink of health. Let's discuss Tata Power with Aditya. Aditya, at about 438, it's showing all signs of taking back its past glory, 1% higher. What are the charts of Tata Power telling you?
Well, quite strong. Tata Power has already seen a good recovery from 400 levels, but structure-wise, quite positive. Means I think it may move. It can break its previous highs of 460, 462 in this move. So at current levels, also it's a good buy with a stop loss of 424. One can initiate long positions. We are already seeing some long position getting built up in futures market. So I am quite positive on Tata Power. I'm expecting that it may move towards 460, 465 in this move, and it can go beyond also. So with a stop loss of 424, one can continue to remain long in Tata Power.
Okay. The other stock that needs to be discussed in the cash space with Mayuresh is Hindustan Zinc. Mayuresh, there's just no stopping this. I think we are going to have a digit change today. 600 seems likely. It's 599 already, and a strong set of transactions happening. I am hesitant to ask Aditya about it because the technical charts look overstretched. But what do you think is driving it?
So I think expectations of core base metal price is expected to move higher, Shells, and I think that's the only argument that logically comes through. China is showing initial signs of some spurt in its economic activity, and therefore, as demand-supply dynamics turn in favor of the Chinese demand-supply dynamics, because inventory levels are so low across the entire metals universe, whether it's aluminium, zinc, lead, copper, you're already seen a good move happen in terms of copper prices. As restocking starts taking place at some point of time going forward, I think that will lead to an element in terms of zinc and lead prices moving higher on the LME. And they're expected to do a decent amount of volumes going forward as well. Again, silver prices are through the roof, and the expectation in terms of silver mining continuing to remain strong for Zinc will also be a value-added factor. So I think these are the triggers that are probably acting as tailwinds in terms of restocking happening because of abysmal stock levels across the commodity chain. And as demand comes back along with restocking, LME prices moving higher, giving most metal stocks, including Zinc, the operating leverage advantage.
Okay. One more space that continues to move up is the railway space again. Today we are seeing Titagarh Rail again up about 7%. Then of course the entire space, RVNL is up by 3%, Railtel, Ircon International, IRFC, IRCTC, you name it, the entire pack is on an upward move again in trade today. Aditya, anything looks positive to you within the railway space? Are you continuing to buy something?
Good consolidation we are seeing. Means most of the railway stocks are not giving a fresh breakout. RVNL will be our top pick. Means it has some resistance around 290, 292, but once that is taken out, it can easily move towards 335, 340 levels, which are the previous highs. So structure-wise, RVNL looks quite promising from these levels. At current levels, also one can add. If it breaks 290, one can go aggressively. One can go and add aggressively with target of 340. On lower side, our stop loss will be 274.
Okay, and Mayuresh, to you also the same question, railways, does it still interest you or the best is behind?
No, structurally, I think the story remains same, like defense, like power. But I think the stocks have moved a little bit too much for comfort. But again, I think the best part is that every pullback gets bought into Sakshi very, very aggressively than the earlier pullback. So I think even if I've been waiting patiently for the last 2 months, I've never really got an entry into these stocks. So I think it's just patience playing out probably at my end. But yes, I think some stocks like Texmaco, I think there is still good enough a story to be played out on a stock like that. Good turnaround dynamics in terms of numbers is still what is something that I still expect.
You know, Mayuresh, I have a theory on this that bull markets are theoretically supposed to make a lot of people happier because of the wealth effect and how our portfolios move. But humans, as they are emotionally, they always regret what they don't have, and they fail to rejoice the number of zeros.
Right.
Mayuresh, I'm very sure that you've added in your passive portfolio. So fear not, you are not the only one missing Railtel or hundreds of stocks that we discuss. Hitachi Energy was 1,000 rupees about 10 months ago. It's at 11,000 rupees now. And this is a story that's repeated across the spectrum. And this is not as if that we did not know that Hitachi Energy did not exist, or we were unaware of the underpinnings, but we always feel that we know valuation better and the market should respect our view, where of course Mayuresh knows valuations better than at least me, but one must always give the full salute to the market to how should I say, find value. And the market is always right, and humans are always on the side of FOMO, the fear of missing out, and of course actually missing out. Fear kya, वो तो आया ही नहीं है. Hindustan Zinc, I am asking, can you imagine 280 240 220 you and I used to speak, आज 600 रुपए 608 रुपए का हो गया. लो अभी बात करी थी 598 पर. So you are not alone. It's how bull markets are structured.
So absolutely right. I think markets are supreme, और जैसे हम मार्केट में कहते हैं शेल सर, भाव भगवान छे, तो you have to salute the markets. उसको ही ध्यान में रख के अपने को तो सीखने का काम है इससे.
I have to share a personal anecdote here. For the last 2 decades, I have been a shareholder of a SUV major in the four-wheeler space. Okay. After maybe 15 years, I thought I must book some profit, so I sold it at 1,300 rupees, about 10%. And now from 1,300, the stock has doubled to 2,600. Can you imagine? In 1 year. So it took 15 years to reach 1,300. Of course, stock splits and bonuses were there. And from 13 to 26, it is only 12 months. So it's unbelievable amount of value that is created. And I regret missing Hitachi Energy. So, क्या हो सकता है? Aditya, do you also suffer with such problems, or do young people in the market have no such issues?
Well, I think this problem means everyone suffers from this problem of missing out and booking too early. So this is not unique to you or means me. Everyone in the market has the same issues.
Okay, chalo. I am very thankful that Sakshi, at least I am in very good company. That I am not the only one telling myself every evening कि भाई तुमसे तो ये भी नहीं हो पाया, तुमसे तो ये भी नहीं हो पाया हैं. गार्डन रीच क्या कहते हैं, 200 रुपए से 1,000 रुपए हो गया तुम्हारे सामने. हिंदुस्तान एरोनॉटिक्स ने स्टॉक स्प्लिट दिया, उसके बाद भी वहां से डबल हो गया. रोज पूछते हैं इसके बारे में, लेकिन बस क्या करें, हमें लगता है वैल्यूएशन ज्यादा हो गई. मयूरेश जी कहते रहते हैं कि भाई वैल्यूएशन पे ध्यान दो. भाई ठीक है, दे रहे ध्यान, रोज शाम को रोते हैं. These are just lightening up conversations. But the bull markets, ladies and gentlemen, are made to make you depressed. If you are a long-term shareholder, बस यही होता है. CDSL, साक्षी,
Yeah.
CDSL 200 रुपया, आज 2100-2200 है. You know, sometimes CDSL rises by the amount I first started tracking it at. मतलब 200 रुपये बढ़ जाता है कभी कभी. So
And BSC. Let's
that's
not
how
forget
bull markets are, ladies and
BSC.
gentlemen. I think you are doing this on purpose, Sakshi.
I am in the same boat as you.
2500 के बाद stock split 5:1.
I am in the same boat as
2500 के
you.
बाद stock split 5:1. I understand. और फिर stock split के बाद 500 रुपए आया और 500 रुपए से फिर 3000 रुपए.
So, Shail sir, my suggestion is, I think
That
next
is
time you
the
come to
power of equities, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah.
So, Shail
Yeah.
sir, next time you come to Mumbai, I think we'll have a brainstorming section.
Please go
Let's
ahead.
identify the next 10 multi-baggers.
Yes. And we will secretly record it and put it on air. Mayuresh.
Oh, absolutely.
Sakshi, you will not believe, Dixon Technologies was at 3,000 rupees. It was at 3,000 rupees 10 months ago. अभी 8,000 रुपया है और रुकने का नाम नहीं ले रहा.
Crazy move.
So, you know, such is life. So all four of us are crying our hearts out because the bull market has forgotten us, ladies and gentlemen. You know, such is life. क्या हो सकता है. चलिए वापस बाजार पे आते हैं. कितना रोएंगे, यहाँ तो आंसू भी सूख गए. What is buzzing? Okay. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, again at 2:50 p.m. today, because it's a Friday, we'll do a show on ETFs, and I'm going to tell you a wonderful ETF where you can buy the US markets, the top 50 US companies at one stroke. Mayuresh, 40,000 on the Dow Jones. Can you imagine?
I think this is the beauty of the bull market. I think if you stay on the sidelines, you're going to miss the best
Yes.
part of the rally, and therefore you should participate in whatever quantities and based on your risk level. But yeah, I think phenomenal and crazy moves across
Yes.
the globe.
Right.
And while we are crying, Sakshi, let me just make one more point. 2.5 months ago, Polycab was at 3,300 rupees because of the, you know, income tax department saying we've raided a wire company.
Yes.
Wire company saying that we have no idea what you're talking about. So stock moved from 5,200 to 3,300. अभी पलक झपकी है मैंने, and it's now at 6,500, ladies and gentlemen. Aditya, tell us, क्या होगा Polycab में?
Means already stock has rallied. Means in last 4 months from the bottom which you're talking about, it's already doubled. Means at this level, I means I would be buying at this level. Seriously, I will. This is one more stock which I would like to miss now. It means on lower side, if it comes to 6,000, I would like to enter, but not at current levels.
Okay,
And
now that
Shail,
we are
how
watching
can
our
you forget?
dirty
How
linen
can
in
you forget the
public,
Kirloskar Group stocks that you
yeah,
were
yeah.
discussing, Shail?
हाँ, इसका तो Kirloskar Group, ladies and gentlemen, is celebrating its 50th anniversary this year. So, you know, the likes of Kirloskar Oil, Kirloskar Pneumatic, Kirloskar Brothers, Kirloskar Industries, Kirloskar Electric, they have surged, I think 50-70% in the last 1 month or so. And before that, they were already multi-baggers. And Aditya, let me just share some more heartbreaking news on Polycab. I was in Mumbai about 2 months ago, and I met the largest individual shareholder of Polycab. Individual shareholder. and he was crying कि ये क्या हो गया, ये क्या हो गया. But he said, I am very hopeful. It may have gone up by from 52 it went down all the way to 33 in a span of a week. And he said, my net worth has gone down so much, but 4 days. But I can assure you that it will recoup the loss. There is so much of strength in the stock. And in 2 months, forget recouping the loss. It is 20% higher than the all-time high of that point of time. So that, ladies and gentlemen, is the power of buying the dip. Again, how should I say, a shameless plug. If you were with us on Friday, we had suggested to buy ETFs of the Nifty, especially the Nifty Bank, and I'm sure they performed really well. Sakshi, I think, cried a lot. Over to you. What are you seeing?
The broader markets are throwing up a lot of names today. JK Paper, that's up sharply, about 7.5%. Solar Industries, I think earnings also came in 7.5% for this one too. I'm also looking at India Hume Pipes, that's up 16%. A very sharp move coming in. It's now up. It's now at 317 odd levels. Butterfly Gandhimati, very rare stock that we discuss. Again, it's up by 5.5%. So some of these names from the broader markets are really doing the round. Schaeffler, which of course the capital goods space continues to move up higher, 6.5% in trade for today as well. Aditya, anything that looks positive to you from the broader market sharp moves that we are seeing today?
Well, among the counters we discussed, I think Butterfly Gandhimati will be my bet. I mean, stock has seen a sharp correction. It's now at lower levels. It found strong support on 750 odd levels, and previously also we have seen that stock has rallied from 750 odd levels. So this will be one stock where risk reward ratio is clearly in my favor. Means I would like to buy this stock with a target of 900 to 940, and on lower side 740 will be my stop loss. So Butterfly Gandhimati can be added at these levels.
Okay. Okay. Okay, let's shift. Yeah.
Sakshi,
Yes,
again, rubbing salt on wounds. Look at Kirloskar Electric again
Yeah.
today.
8%.
The price is again up 9%. I think it's at a record high. Let me just check. This is yes, 215, and is it a record high? Yes, of course it's a record high. And a very sharp burst coming into here as far as prices are concerned. Again, in my mind, I feel that the chart is overstretched, so I will not be taking a technical view. But this is what missing out feels. Once again, to prove my point, Mayuresh.
Point, एक हमेशा नुस्खा ये भी रहता है when you meet a lot of, I meet a lot of investors, you also do, कि हमारे स्टॉक्स पोर्टफोलियो के चलते नहीं, बाकी सबके चल रहे हैं.
और आप उसको बेच के देख लीजिए. सेल द स्टॉक, कल से चलेगा 6 महीने में डबल होगा.
Yes, that happens. Yes, that happens.
Exactly.
अदिति जी, आपके साथ भी कभी ऐसा होता है, टेक्निकल कॉल में स्टॉप लॉस लग गया और वहां से स्टॉक 10% भाग गया?
And don't ask me, multiple times happen. And the day you sell it or day you exit means next day stock is up 8 to 10%.
And Shail, I'd like to also give my experience. This is for the first time that I thought on the advice of my CA, when March was ending, that do some loss booking as well. I did that, and next day onwards I haven't had the opportunity to buy into those stocks again. For at least 2 straight months I've seen every day a 5% upper circuit on those stocks. Those have never moved in my portfolio, and I do not know how that happened, but so there you go.
I think you change your CA. First thing you should do that.
On air now you're saying that, so yeah, I'm going to be showing him this clip.
कि भाई कुछ हम करना पाए ना कर पाए, लेकिन ये गलती दोबारा नहीं करेंगे. So, after 10-12 years of tracking equities, I realized to my horror that a lot of stocks that I had exited from my long only passive portfolio had gone up by 2x. So I made a rule which I follow to this day, that I will never exit more than 50 to 60% of any holding that I have, because I buy only quality, because I buy only pain. So my portfolio more or less resembles the Nifty in many ways, or the mid cap, maybe top 50 stocks. So I have now realized, to my wonderment, that after 10 years I made this rule, and now 15 to 17 years later, all those stocks are multi-baggers. Beyond belief, they have gone up, and only advice, don't sell all. जो बाकी 50% आपके पोर्टफोलियो में बचा, that has gone up 10 times, either in volume, which is bonus or stock splits, or by price. That is the best rule that I made, but I learnt it the hard way after 10 years of watching the market and moving in and out even of fundamental stocks. सभी ऐसा करते हैं. और now I am very peaceful. I barely sell. देखी जाएगी जो होगा. And it has paid phenomenal dividends. I mean dividends of course, but phenomenal capital appreciation. So maybe you get wiser after the event, and then the less you do, the more money you make in capital markets. But people don't realize this, what can be done. Only time is the best teacher, and market is the best teacher. Sakshi, Nifty is down 50 points. What are you watching? आज तो बहुत बातें हो गई.
There is just one news that's coming in from ICICIdirect.com that there is some maintenance going on their app, so there is no trading happening through the app right now. They've said that from 10 a.m. again they will be beginning the services right there. Unfortunate to be doing that during the market hours and having that inconvenience for all the consumers right there and traders right there on a market that gives enough and more opportunities to participate, like we have been discussing so far. Crompton Greaves Consumer now 12.5% high in trade. Info Edge, M&M, Dixon Tech, Grasim and Petronet LNG, Aditya Birla Capital, these are some of the other movers in the F&O space. Big moves coming in on Grasim. Your sense, Mayuresh, on Grasim and the entire cement space? You did say that you are bullish on the ancillary space when it comes to infra and development. Where exactly in the cement space are you keeping an eye out on?
So remain constructive, Sakshi, on this space because the kind of initiatives that have now been taken over the last few years in terms of rural urban affordable housing, there is a lot of infra work, roads, etc. And cement capacities are not expanding at the pace at which demand is expected to grow. So if you probably look at JK Cement's presentation as an example, the overall demand is expected to grow higher from 442 to almost 470 million tons. And the capacities are not increasing at the pace that one expected earlier. So to that extent, utilization levels will exceed that 75-80% mark for certain companies, creating huge element in terms of strong realization growth, along with stable input costs and some element of backward integration, along with captive power that they use, relating to a better relative reported EBITDA per ton. And therefore, I think as a space expected to do well. I think our stocks, which we have kept on our watch list, which have a very strong EPS, RS rating, institutional holding, would be stocks like a JK Cement from the mid cap space, within the large caps, ACC, and even probably Ultratech.
Okay, understood. Let's see what else is ticking higher. So Ultratech Cement also within the top movers on the Nifty. It's among the top movers. So the entire space probably looks positive. Anything on the charts from the cement pack that you'd like to highlight, which one should keep an eye out on, Aditya?
Well, whole cement pack is looking good. I mean, if I have to choose one stock, then Ultratech Cement will be one stock which I would like to buy at current levels. On the higher side, means I'm expecting it may move towards 10,200 to 10,350 odd levels. So we can easily see a move of 4 to 5% in this counter from current levels. At current levels, also is a good buy with a stop loss of 95.70. Long positions can be initiated.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are at 9:53. The first half an hour of trade has lapsed, and the Nifty is quiet. Now this is really good. The high for today was 22,435, if I am not mistaken. Yes, and we are now at about 22,360. So it's a narrow band where the Nifty is moving. One good point is that there is some kind of sanity in terms of prices. The overall advanced decline picture is very, very positive for the bulls. You have about 1450 shares in the green and just 700 in the red. So it's a very happy 2:1 kind of a advanced decline, which should be good for Friday. And of course, you have strong moves coming into stocks such as Dixon Technologies that we've discussed. PFC, Power Finance Corporation, 1.6% higher. Earnings boy Zydus Life, 1.86% higher at 1027. If you just pay attention to the defense space, there's no stopping BEML. This is now at 3897, and you have the three shipbuilders, Mazgaon, Cochin and Garden Reach, in the pink of health. Today's rally is led by, of course, BEML, now 5% higher, 3882. Again, one of those stories that we have missed, at least I have missed. HAL has showing signs of profit booking, 2% lower, 4502. I have failed in my duty to mention the record highs today. That is where a lot of fresh money is moving in. Let me just highlight a few. Schaeffler, okay, this is the bearings maker, 7% higher, 4530. Triveni Turbine, a very strong set of earnings, 6.5% higher, 645. Schneider, 5% higher, 877. You have Indigo, Jindal Steel and Power, Ashok Leyland, Oberoi Realty. Some of these we've discussed. BEL is also at a record high. So Mazgaon, Cochin Shipbuilders, BEL are the ones that I see on the record high list today. Mayuresh, I wanted to take your view on these bearing companies. Over the last maybe 15 sessions have been wonderful for the likes of Schaeffler, SKF India and of course Timken India. We were fortunate to have our common friend Ashish Chaturmota on the show about 15 days ago, and he mentioned that some fire would be lit under bearing companies. What do you think is happening?
So remain optimistic. Agree with Ashish. I think three things are happening here, Shail sir. One, I think for the entire space as a whole, if you look at the construct in terms of more orders expected to come through from railways, look at the capital outlay that has been assigned to railways itself by the central government, and not just in terms of infrastructure. I think in terms of the core railway wagons, in terms of railway systems, and therefore a lot more bearings will be at play. Purely from the railway sector as a whole. The second element also that a lot of these companies are now foraying into is the electric vehicle part. So I think the bearings that are required specifically for electric vehicle and the platforms thereof are going to be a little bit different, and therefore the product mix that these companies have are going to be significantly better in terms of the servicing mechanism. Obviously, apart from the OEMs, the replacement market is something where realizations are also extremely strong and are expected to remain extremely stable across the entire ecosystem, whether it's PVs, whether it's CVs, or even tractors to a certain extent. So I think new products being introduced, the size of the market itself expected to grow at a very decent pace, and across sectors and industries, a lot of demand expected to come through industrial, railways, EV is something that will keep the volume and demand momentum consistent, realizations consistent, input costs coming off, keeping margins stable or improving thereof, creating a multiplier effect as far as the bottom line growth is concerned, which we calculate and map through our EPS rating. So something like an SKF India as an example is something definitely that you should be keeping on your radar.
Okay, SKF will keep an eye out on. Nifty is now flattened out, Sakshi. It's moving up in green territory. What heartens me is the 0.3% uptick in the Nifty 500. This is a positive because that shows you the broader market activity both on the speculative as well as the buying side is in fine shape. 59 points higher, 20,988. Before we close this show, I'd just like to mark the Nifty mid cap and the Nifty small cap index as well. I'm sure the mid cap index is now at a record high. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it's rallied for the 6th day in a row, and it is now at its highest point ever, 51,429. This is something to be looked at. I'll also mark the Nifty 500. That shows you the trajectory of what the broader markets are headed for. The all-time high on the Nifty 500 is 21,208. We are about 250 points behind that, but that's the broader trajectory, ladies and gentlemen. And there is no stopping Siemens, something that I have missed again, 2.5% higher, 72.19. On that note, Sakshi, over to you.
Well, with that note, I think with a heavy heart, we are going to wrap up this special edition, but with the hope that we are going to be more focused and we are going to be buying whenever Mayuresh sir and Aditya tell us. Yes. Shail, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, Sakshi, I think yes. In your case, at least you can fire your CA. But what about the rest of us three? हम किससे अपना बदला लें?
It's Friday today, Shail. You don't need me to tell you what are you supposed to do in the evening. So, yeah, I'm sure. So we will see you off air, and and we will chat the rest of the things, and of course we will take Mayuresh ji on con call too. On that note, and then many thanks, Mayuresh and Aditya, for being with us on this very delightful. Edition where we continue to discuss. This is what markets are for. That even if we're not making money, at least all of us are not making money. So that's where you can feel solace. So thank you so much for sharing all the insights. But for all the viewers, we will continue to make you, ensure that you have enough and more guidance from all our experts to make more money, and at the time when you really need to put in money. So please be sure that you have the right CAs in place. Thank you so much, viewers, for being with us on this edition.
Which area, which domain you want to get in and participate. Now, Reserve Bank of India has an internship program.